How are we doing, everyone? Hope you're well. Mr. B here, and I'm back with my final video of the year, which is, of course, my top 20 albums of 2024. I picked up 23 new albums this year, so it makes sense to do a top 20 with 3 honourable mentions. Definitely picked up more new music last year. I think I bought about 37 albums last year. So 14 albums down on the previous year, but it's all good. Picked up plenty of good stuff. So 23 albums to talk about. The top 20 and then the first 3 are going to be honourable mentions, of course. We're going to get started with the only album that's really disappointed me this year. And it's still okay, but it's definitely not as good as what come before it. And that's the new album by Massive Wagons, Earth to Grace. Massive Wagons are a band I only started listening to a couple of years ago. One of the things that appeals to me the most about Massive Wagons is their obvious sense of humour. These guys don't take themselves too seriously. Their tongues are firmly placed in their cheek. But for me, this is definitely a band that is trying to make the transition to a much sort of bigger band with regards to going for a much more mainstream approach. Now, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Of course, every band wants more success, to be selling more records, to be playing in bigger arenas, or venues, I should say. And for me here, this is a band that, yeah, they've changed up the style to go more mainstream, but they've taken out the majority of the sense of humour, and that's the main problem for me. You only really get the sense of humour on the last track. I can still listen to it and enjoy it, but it's definitely not as good as the stuff that they've done before. There's good tracks on this, like Missing on TV, Free and Easy, that's got a good chorus. The Good Die Young, All We Got, Cool Like a Fox, Whatever Makes You Happy. But then the last track, Rabbit Hole, is the only one that's got that blatant sense of humour in it. The rest of it is playing it very safe. But for me, the missing sense of humour is the main problem here. You know, it's just not as good as what they've done before for me. It's still okay. I can still listen to it and enjoy it, but it's definitely not as good as what come before it. And it definitely won't get spun as much as the other Massive Wagons albums in my collection. Earth to Grace from Massive Wagons. That's the first honourable mention. The second honourable mention, we're going to go over to Belgium now for some death metal, and here's Vault of Horrors from Aborted. Nothing wrong with this album at all. It's well produced. It's got some really nice riffs on it. Some great vocals. Everyone musically is putting in a good performance, but there's just not that much that really sticks out in the memory. Condemned to Rot, track 2 is really good. Death Cult I like. Hellbound's good. Side B. The Shape of Hate. Malevolent Haze. Not a bad album at all. It's just not good enough to make the top 20. There's much better albums still to come in this video. But still some good death metal from Aborted. If you like these guys, you haven't picked it up, you'll like it. It's Aborted doing what they do well. But just not as good as their previous albums, it has to be said. And the last honourable mention was something that was brought to my attention by Dylan at HM2 Pow. Here's Daisy Cutter. And I can't remember the name of the album, so I'll pop it in the bottom down at after when I'm editing. Yeah, good album from these guys. This is death metal from Germany with the Swedish HM2 guitar tone. Not a massive fan of the vocals on this album, however, it must be said. It's more sort of that hardcore style vocals, which, don't get me wrong, I could definitely live with. But yeah, not the biggest fan of the vocals, that has to be said. But of course, it's got that HM2 guitar sound. This is a solid death metal album, 9 tracks. No fucking respect. First track is really good. Great chorus. Daisy Cutter, track 3. That's really good as well. Killing Machine's got some fantastic riffs on it. Some good solos on this album as well. I haven't mentioned that yet. Here I Die. Last track, Dead Man's Trail. Good stuff from Daisy Cutter. But there was other stuff I picked up this year that I liked more. And that's the only reason that this makes it to the honourable mentions. Cheers, Dylan, for pointing this in my direction. Good stuff from Daisy Cutter. But definitely picked up other stuff that I enjoyed more this year. So let's get on to the top 20. And at number 20, we're going to be kicking off with some death metal from America. And here's Skeletal Remains with Fragments of the Ageless. Good album from these guys. This is not a dud, no doubt about it. However, for me, it's nowhere near as good as the 2 albums that come before it. And that's why it's only coming in at number 20 on the list. If you like Morbid Angel and you're not familiar with these guys, you should definitely check these guys out. They definitely remind me of sort of Covenant era Morbid Angel. Guitar tone on this is really nice. It's well produced. There's some great drums, excellent vocals, good tunes on this, like Relentless Appetite. First track's really good. Conquer the Devout I really like. Venomous Embodiment, Evocation, The Rebirth, the last track, I really like that one as well. Yep, everyone's music performances are good. I can listen to it and enjoy it, but it's definitely lacking the hooks that the previous two albums have definitely got, and that's why it comes in at number 20. But still a good album. Skeletal Remains, Fragments of the Aegis comes in at number 20. Number 19 now, and here is the latest album from German heavy metalers Accept, Humanoid. There's some bad lyrics on this album. I mean, to be honest, Accept are not a band that I associate with good lyric writing. Don't get me wrong, not terrible, but you can definitely hear some really bad lyrics on this. Also, the whole kind of subject of this album, Humanoid, to me sounds incredibly dated. I mean, I can remember Billy Idol putting out an album called Cyberpunk in 1993, so 31 years ago, and I thought that sounded dated then. 3 decades later, Accept committing the same crime, and it just sounds like such a dated sort of subject matter for an album. But with those things said, I can still listen to this album and enjoy it from start to finish. Wolf Hoffman still absolutely killing it on the guitar. Some great riffs across the whole album. Some great solos. And Mark Tonello's vocals are absolutely brilliant. Just a fantastic vocalist. He sounds absolutely superb. Diving into Sin, first track's great. Some nice backing vocals, gang vocals on this. Across this whole album sounds good. Humanoid, title track I really like. Man Up, that's not that great, it has to be said. I could easily live without that. Nobody Gets That Alive is another terrible song. If you took those 2 songs off this album, it would be better for it for me. But Ravages of Time is really good. Unbreakable, I like. Mind Games, great chorus. Mark sounding fantastic on the vocals. Straight Up Jack, which is basically an AC/DC song being done by Accept. That's some of the bad lyrics in that, but it's an enjoyable tune. Ends with South Side of Hell. Good album from Accept. There's just better stuff that's come out this year. Humanoid comes in at number 19. Decent album. Number 18, and here is the latest album from the Dead Daisies. This is Light 'Em Up. Saw these guys live in London a few months ago and they're absolutely superb. Fronted by John Corabi, one of the best and most underrated voices in the rock out there as far as I'm concerned. He sounds absolutely phenomenal on this record. Doug Aldrich on the guitar, so the riffs and the solos are absolutely amazing. The reason this comes in so low down the list at number 18, and the reason being that side A is all killer and side B is just all decent. It's definitely a front-loaded album. Side A is where the best stuff's at, no doubt about it. Light 'Em Up, the opening track, the title track, is a high-energy tune. It's really good. Times Are Changing, another great tune. Track 3, Album to Be Your Bitch, is fantastic. Great chorus, very, very catchy stuff. Amazing solos. I'm Gonna Ride, track 4, fantastic song, excellent chorus. The last track on side A, Back to Zero, some really nice riffs on that. It's a mid-place tune with this great riffs on it. It's just fantastic vocals from John. But side B, still decent. Way Back Home, My Way and the Highway, Love That'll Never Be, Take My Soul. Side A is definitely where it's at. Side B still decent, but Dead Daisies, Light 'Em Up, comes in at number 18 on the list. Good album. Shame side B's not as strong as side A. Number 17 now. And here's the latest album from Exorder. I've forgotten the title. Defectum Omnium, I think is how you say it, but I shall pop it down below in the edit. This is Exorder, doing what they seem to do these days. That's a mix of thrashy sort of songs with some more mid-paced, groovier moments as well. Lead vocalist Carl still sounding absolutely fantastic. You've got former Cannibal Corpse lead guitarist Pat O'Brien on this, so the leads are fantastic. There's some great riffs across the whole album, actually. Everyone puts in a good performance. There's a couple of tunes that are a little bit weak, and if you remove them, the album would be better for it, but there's still plenty of moments in this that I really enjoy. The opening track, Wrath of Prophecies, is superb. Great vocals, superb chorus. The Tale of Unsound Minds I really like. Divine and Conquer, again, a great chorus, great vocals. Year of the Goat is brilliant. One of my favourite songs on the whole album. excellent vocals in that chorus. Very, very catchy. Taken by Flames, again, really good. Sedition, Desensitized, one of my favourite songs of the album. So good. Really thrashy. But yeah, a couple of tunes that don't stick out in the memory as much as the others, but it's still a good album from Exhorder. They come in at number 17 on the list. Good album from those guys. In next at number 16, and the only album I'm going to be showing that's on 2 formats. And then here's Kerry King from Hell I Rise. Here's the cassette. And here's the CD. Picked up the CD and the cassette for cheaper than the vinyl, so that's why I decided to go for the CD and cassette. This is basically a Slayer album with better vocals. I'm not hating on Tom Araya, not at all. Love his voice. But Marco Segura is a better vocalist, and he sounds fantastic on this. So Death Angels, Marco Segura on the vocals, sounding brilliant. Doing an absolutely fantastic job on the vocals. Phil Demmel providing some great leads. Paul Bostaph on the drums, an amazing drummer. You don't play drums for Testament, Exodus, Forbidden, and Slayer if you're not a great drummer. Paul doing an absolutely amazing job on the drums. And I really like this. I mean, you know, it's nothing outstanding. It's not going to blow you away, but I've listened to it plenty of times. It's got loads of songs in it that I really like. Residue is really good. Idle Hands, Trophies of the Tyrant, Crucifixion, excellent chorus. Really, really strong. Brilliant vocals. Everything I Hate About You is good. Toxic, great track. Great chorus. Two Fists, Raise, Shrapnel. From Hell I Rise, the title track. Nothing outstanding, but it's a solid album from start to finish for me. Marco Segura is definitely the star of the show, though. The vocals are absolutely phenomenal. Great stuff here. Really enjoyed this one. A lot of people sort of haven't really dug it, but I really like it. It's decent. Not a bad album at all. Kerry King from Hell I Rise comes in at number 16. Quick drink. Here's a band to get a lot of hate, but I still really like them. And here's 6 Feet Under's latest album, Killing for Revenge. Obviously, Chris Barnes' voice is nothing like it was years ago, and that's never going to change now. I think all that dope smoking ruined his voice. But I do think his voice sounds better here than it did on the previous album, Nightmares of the Decomposed. And I can still listen to 6 Feet Under. I'm absolutely fine with it. Yeah, like I say, Chris's voice isn't what it was, but I still like his vocals. You've got Jack Owen on the guitar here, his former Cannibal Corpse bandmate, so all the riffs and solos are fantastic. Jack, for me, very underrated guitar player. His soloing, and especially his riffs, are fantastic. And it's a decent album. There's plenty of songs on this I like. No Nothing In Great, first track's got a great chorus. It's a bit hard to read there. But track 2 is really good. I can't sort of read the title very well. Ascension, track 3 is fantastic. Really, really good. Hostility Against Mankind, a great track. Fit of Carnage, really, really good stuff. Mass Casualty, Murder. Spores of War. There's a couple of tracks that aren't sort of as strong as others. But it's still a good album, I think. So many great riffs. Some nice soloing. And just some catchy songs, but still being brutal at the same time. A couple of tracks not as strong as others, but certainly not bad. And 6 Feet Under's Killing for Revenge comes in at number 15 on the list. Number 14 on the list is the latest album from Morbid Saint, Here's Swallowed by Hell. Wasn't a huge fan of the modern production at first, but I don't care when I listen to it now. The drumming on this is absolutely insane. Whoever's playing the drums is an absolute beast. Riffs are really, really good as well, and some excellent vocals. It's a fast, frantic thrash album that barely lets his foot off the accelerator throughout the entire album. Rise from the Ashes, first track is great. Swallowed by Hell, title track, superb. Burn Pit, Bleed Them Dry, Killer Instinct, Psychosis. Just a fun thrash album from start to finish. There's no mid-pace moments here. They're going from it from the second it starts to the moment it finishes. And Morbid Saint, Swallowed by Hell is a really, really good modern day thrash album. I'm definitely glad I picked up. Their first album for quite a while, and it's really good stuff. I love this cover art as well. Morbid Saint, Swallowed by Hell comes in at number 14. Now, number 13 I actually can't show in physical format because it hasn't turned up in the post yet. But we're going to be talking about it anyway, of course. And it's the latest album from Flotsam and Jepsen called I Am the Weapon, which came out back in September. Flotsam and Jetsam, one of those bands for me, definitely still absolutely knocking it out of the park all these years later, not relying on past glories. Eric AK's vocals are still absolutely insane. Great drums on this record. Some nice bass work as well that I really enjoy. And some fantastic songs. Just going to have to read off of my tablet here because, like I said, I don't have the physical product in front of me. But A New Kind of Hero, track 1, is really good. I Am the Weapon title track, fantastic chorus, really, really good stuff. The Head of the Snake, again, a brilliant track, great chorus, very catchy. Gates of Hell, Cold Street Lights, Running Through the Fire. The latest Flots album is really, really good, and these guys definitely know what they're doing. They're still delivering quality thrash 4 decades into their career. Can't wait for the physical copy to turn up in the post, but it's not here yet. But Flotsam and Jetsam's I'm the Weapon is a superb album. That comes in at number 13. So we're on to number 12 now. Back to death metal, and here's Blood Red Throne and Nonagon, which came out right at the start of the year. Not as good as the previous album, but still really decent, well produced, great riffs, some fantastic drums as well. The vocals are great, and it's full of some really, really catchy songs. Epitaph Inscribed first track is excellent. Amazing riffs in that tune. Very, very catchy stuff. Ode to the Obscene. Every Silent Plea. Nonagon, the title track, is really, really good. Split Tongue Sermon. That's excellent. I really like that one a lot. Blade Eulogy and Flesh Rend, the last track. Very much reminds me of one of the tracks on Death's Leprosy. In parts with some of the riffs. Excellent album from Blood Red Throne. Nonagon, another good album from these guys. These guys don't really let you down. Blood Red Throne comes in at number 12. Number 11 now. And some more death metal. And here's Mortar Scold's latest album, Creation Undone, which is the first album I picked up this year. Very well produced death metal. Some really, really catchy tunes on this. For me, I think they're a bit of an underrated death metal band. They don't get talked about too much. But I really like them. And We Rise, We Fall, the first track, is just brilliant. So catchy. Great chorus. Amazing vocals. The End of Reason's really good. Perfect Prey, track 5, absolutely fantastic. Into Temptation, Oblivion, By Design. If you're looking to cut your teeth on death metal, you should probably listen to these guys, because whereas the vocals are brutal, you can still understand all the words that are being spoken, or sung I should say. Guitar tone's really nice, some great bass work, drums are fantastic, some catchy death metal, a couple of tracks not as good as some of the others, but still certainly not bad. But We Rise, We Fall and Perfect Prey, those two tracks are definitely my favourites on this album. Yep, first album yet I picked up, Mortar Scold's Creation Undone. That's correct. That is number 11. Quick drink before getting to the top 10. This is one of the albums I was very much looking forward to this year. And it's the latest record by death metal sort of legends Deicide. This is Banished by Sin. First things first, don't give a fuck about the AI artwork. You don't listen to the artwork. Good album from these guys. The first thing that sticks out in my mind is Steve Asheim's drumming. It's still absolutely killer all these years later. That guy is such an amazing musician. He writes a lot of the guitar parts as well for Deicide. Very, very talented individual. The two guitars, I can't remember their names off the top of my head, do a great job. Some really, really good leads on this. Some excellent solos. And Glenn Benton vocally still sounded fantastic. This record sounds really good, well produced. Glenn's been nice and audible in the mix. Sounds really good. Doom to Die, track 2, excellent. Sever the Tongue, terrible music video, but a good tune. Catchy stuff as well. Bury the Cross with Your Christ, great chorus, very, very good. Woke from God Alike, Ritual Defied, Banished by Sin, title track, great chorus again. A Trinity of None, The Light Defeated, excellent album. I saw a Deicide at Bloodstock back in August, and it was excellent to see them. I didn't play a single song from this record though. They were just sticking with the stuff from stuff like Legion, their debut. But the latest record from Deicide, Banished by Sin, really good. Catchy death metal, brutal at the same time. Well produced but not overproduced. Really like that one a lot. Number 9 now, and here's someone from the old guard, and here's Bruce Dickinson, the Mandrake Project. One of the first albums I picked up in the year. I really enjoy this one. I haven't got a lot of Bruce's solo stuff, but I grabbed this when it first came out because I heard a couple of tracks from it and I really enjoyed them. Good album. Afterglow of Ragnarok, first track. Some nice atmospheric parts in that I really like a lot. Resurrection Men, great track. Rain on the Graves, great chorus. Bruce sounded fantastic. Eternity Has Failed. That is, of course, the solo version of the song that's on Book of Souls. Mistress of Mercy, great tune. Face in the Mirror, Shadow of the Gods. Doesn't sound exactly like Maiden, which is what you want, really. There's no point Bruce putting out something that sounds exactly like Iron Maiden. A good album. The performances from everyone musically are good. Some great tunes on it. Sort of earlier in the year, it was more higher up the list, but it slipped down a bit since I picked up some more albums I enjoy more. But the Mandrake Project from Bruce Dickinson is still a great album, and that comes in at number 9. Up next, back to some death metal, and here's the new album from Undeath, and this is More Insane. I really like their previous album. I'm pretty new to these guys, so I was excited to hear about this new album coming out, and it hasn't disappointed me in the slightest. Really, really enjoy this one. Very well produced, great vocals, mixed really well. Another one of those death metal albums where the bass is nice and clear in the mix. Great tunes on this, like More Insane, that's excellent. God, these titles are hard to read. Bounty Hunter's great as well. I can't read the other bloody titles because the writing's not great. And when you've got eyesight as piss poor as mine, it's not easy to read. But it's a death metal album I've definitely enjoyed. Listened to it quite a bit recently. Like I say, it sounds great. Some nice riffs, great vocals. Undeath's More Insane comes in at number 8 on the list. Nearly said number 9. Number 7, we're sticking with the death metal. Here's the latest album from Job for a Cowboy, Moon Healer, which is their first album for about 10 years. It's absolutely fantastic. Excellent technical death metal from Job for a Cowboy. I'm very glad to see them back. Great vocals from Johnny Davey. Another album that's packed with some great riffs. Drums are fantastic, but for me, the main standout on this album is the bass playing. The bass player is not just following the guitar lines, he's definitely doing his own thing, and it makes the album very interesting to listen to. Just fantastic stuff. The bass playing is outstanding. Great tunes like the opening track, Beyond the Chemical Doorway, is superb. Etched in Oblivion. Sorrow-Filled Moon, I absolutely love that. It's a great tune. The Agony Sleeping Storm, The Forever Rot. The Forever Rot is a great way of closing this album. Just 8 tracks, getting the job done. No unnecessary 15-song album where you sort of pack in the album with loads of filler. They just get the job done with 8 tracks. Moon Healer from Job for a Cowboy is excellent technical death metal. It's great to have them back. I really enjoy that album. Fantastic stuff. Amazing musicians, all of them. Number 6 now. Another one of the old guard that are definitely not relying on past glories. The latest album from Saxon, Hellfire and Damnation. Again, much like Accept, there are some terrible lyrics on this album. And that tends to be the case with Saxon in general. Well, not so much Saxon, but a lot of those old school metal bands. Some of their lyrics are not great. But once again, it doesn't really matter when the songs themselves are fantastic. You've got Brian Tatler from Diamond Head on guitar here. He's joined the band. Biff Byford still sounding absolutely amazing. Great vocalist. His voice is not cracking at all. And I think he's in his early 70s now, so he's doing really good. Excellent old school heavy metal. Hellfire and Damnation title track. Great chorus. Very, very catchy. Madam Guillotine, great track. I love the verses. The riffs are simple, but really, really catchy. Fire and Steel. You know, a bit of a cliche title, but still good. Kubrick and the Merchant of Venice, great track. Pirates of the Airwaves, again a great track. 1066, Witches of Salem, Supercharger. There are no bad songs on this record. It's a banger from start to finish. Despite some shitty lyrics, that's the only thing I can critique about this album. And let's face it, it doesn't really matter when it comes to lyrics at the end of the day. As long as the song's good, that's what's most important. Biff still knocking out the park. Brian Tatler, a good addition to the band. Saxon's Hellfire and Damnation comes in at number 6, an absolutely amazing album. Saxon's still delivering the goods after all these years. Into the top 5 now. And the latest album from this guy. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, you will know how much I love this guy and his main band. Here's Jerry Cantrell, of course, from Alice in Chains, and his latest album, I Want Blood, which is just fantastic. You know, if you want Jerry, you get Jerry. He gives you what you want. Just an amazing album. Some amazing vocal melodies and harmonies on this. Some excellent guitar playing. I've got Duff McKagan featuring on the bass here in places. And I think Rob Trujillo from Metallica as well. Just a very well written album. It does sound quite Alice in Chains, if I'm honest. But that's not a problem for me. Vilified track I really like. Off the Rails, some great guitar playing. That's some nice harmonies. Afterglow, I Want Blood, the title track is absolutely excellent. Throw Me a Line is brilliant. That chorus is just fantastic. Very, very kind of emotional sounding tune. It's really good. Let It Lie. Held Your Tongue, It Comes. It's just a great album from start to finish. I knew Jerry wasn't going to disappoint me, and he certainly hasn't. And I Want Blood, his latest album, which has only been out about 6 weeks, maybe a couple of months. It's just fantastic, and that comes in 5th place in my top 20 of the year. Excellent stuff. Once again, another band from the old school, still well and truly delivering the goods. And here's Judas Priest's Invincible Shield. Absolutely outstanding. Just such a good album. Scott Travis absolutely killing it on the drums all these years later. Ian Hill's bass work is just that Ian Hill's bass work, nothing outstanding. But the guitars from Richie Faulkner are great. We've got some leads on this played by Glenn Tipton, who all we know can't play all the time anymore because of certain health conditions. Andy Sneap producing. He's playing some guitar on this as well. But Rob Halford absolutely killing it on the vocals. Again, another guy in his 70s, and he's still hitting those high notes. He sounds absolutely phenomenal. I remember seeing Priest at Bloodstock about 6 years ago, and I couldn't believe just how brilliant he sounded live. You can always sound great on a record, but live you can't hide that stuff, but he sounded amazing. It's just an album packed with fantastic tunes. I mean, there's not many bands out there who've been around for 50 years and are still putting out amazing albums. I'd argue that Priest are putting out some of their best stuff now, half a century after they first appeared. Panic Attack, first track, great vocals from Rob. Amazing chorus, incredibly catchy. The Serpent and the King, again, great vocals from Rob. Invincible Shield title track, brilliant. Devil in Disguise, Gates of Hell. Crown of Horns, Trial by Fire, great track, love that chorus. Escape from Reality, Sons of Thunder, Giants in the Sky. Amazing guitar work, whether that's riffs or solos. Scott's drums are great. Rob absolutely knocking out of the park on the vocals. Judas Priest, Invincible Shield is my number 4 of the year. Number 3 now, and a band that I've only sort of discovered a few years ago. They haven't been around that long, to be fair. I was very excited for this record, and it's not disappointing me at all. So we're into the top 3, and here's Blood Incantation, Absolute Elsewhere. It's just superb. Only 2 songs, although both songs are split up into 3 separate parts, so it's kind of 6 songs really. Just an absolutely phenomenal album. It's blown me away. It's just absolutely brilliant. 1 minute you're getting sort of proper technical death metal. Next minute it sounds like progressive 70s rock. Definitely getting a lot of Pink Floyd in the progressive parts for me, which on paper probably doesn't sound like it works. Believe me, it does though. It's brutal in places with some fantastic technical riffing. Some excellent vocals. The drums are superb. And like I say, then the proggy sort of parts come in where things break down completely. And it just absolutely works. And it's a superb album. I absolutely love it. These guys, for me, are definitely pushing things forward when it comes to death metal. Absolutely stunning album. I've listened to it about 8 or 9 times in the last 2 weeks. It's just absolutely phenomenal. A brilliant, brilliant album. A brilliant band. I'm definitely looking forward to more from these guys. It's superb stuff. Blood Incantations, Absolute Elsewhere is my number 3 album for the year. Brilliant stuff. Now, number 2, if you'd have told me at the start of the year that this band's new album would be my number 2 on the list, I wouldn't have believed you, because even though I've been a fan of this band for over 30 years, this is the first album they put out in a long time that's really blown me away. And for a short amount of time, I had it at number 1. But it has to be number 2 because number 1's just an absolute beast. But also an absolute beast is Dark Matter from Pearl Jam. Yeah, it's been a long time since they put out an album that I've really loved. But I've listened to this so many times this year. It's just absolutely brilliant. It's got the more up-tempo, rocking tracks on it, and then some really nice, quieter moments that balance the album out really good. It's a fantastic record. Scared of Fear opening track is great. React Respond, great chorus, love it. Eddie Vedder's vocals are brilliant. Wreckage, track 3, probably my favourite song on the album. One of the more chill tunes on the album. Sounds really, really good. Dark Matter's a great track. Upper Hand, Waiting for Stevie. Something Special, Got to Give is a great track. And Setting Sun finishes off the album in style nicely. Stone Gothard and Mike McCready's guitars are really good. Jeff Ahmed's bass is always great. Fantastic bass player. Eddie Vedder's vocals are still really, really good. He sounds fantastic. But for me, the star of the show here is Matt Cameron on the drums, who of course used to ply his trade in Soundgarden. The drums are absolutely phenomenal. Maybe one of his, if not one of his best performances, his best drumming performance ever. Pearl Jam's Dark Matter is my number 2 album of 2024. Absolutely fantastic. I was not expecting to be blown away by it, but here we are. Had it at number 1 briefly, but I've had to put something else at number 1, which you're about to see, of course. Now, from the number 1, the last album that these guys put out is the only album that slightly disappointed me. It's not a bad album by any stretch of imagination, but it didn't grab me as much as the other releases. One of the albums I've been looking forward to most this year, and it did not disappoint. So my number 1 album of the year is Nile, and The Underworld Awaits Us All. It's just absolutely superb, perfect. These guys pretty much do no wrong for me. Absolutely amazing technical death metal. Of course, with those Egyptian influences, which you would guess by the name of the band. George Kolias on the drums, absolutely outstanding. As always, one of the best death metal drums out there, no doubt about it. Still being fronted by Cole Sanders on the vocals and the guitar. Well, co-fronted because you've got other guys in the band with some multi-layered lead vocals. There's at least 3 lead vocalists in Nile these days. There might even be 4, I'm not sure. But it's just amazing, excellent technical death metal. The guitar tone's amazing. The drums sound great. It's well produced without sounding overproduced. And it's full of great songs. There's some female vocals on this as well, which add some nice layer into the production. It's just amazing. And it also contains the best song title you will hear on any album this year. Track 2. And let's read it out for you. Chapter for not being hung upside down on a stake in the underworld and made to eat feces by the 4 apes. I mean, what a title that is. It's fucking pretentious, but it's great. But it's a great song at the same time. And there's loads of great tunes on this. I mean, To Strike with Secret Fang, track 3 is amazing. Overlords of the Black Earth is excellent. Under the Curse of One God, again, great. True Gods of the Desert, The Underworld Awaits Us All. There's no bad songs on this. It's just amazing. Brilliantly written songs, complex stuff. Some fantastic time changes. Some great vocals, great guitars, whether that's leads or solos. The bass sounds great. George doing a great job on the drums. Just a perfect album. It did not disappoint me at all after the last album. It was a bit of a letdown. Nile are back with a bang. And Nile's The Underworld Awaits Us All is my number 1 album of 2024. Absolutely fantastic stuff. If you're into death metal and you haven't heard this, I can't recommend enough you go out and listen to it. Absolutely phenomenal. Nile, superb stuff. One of my favourite death metal bands, no doubt about it. And The Underworld Awaits Us All is my number 1 album in 2024. Right guys, so that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As per usual, feel free to jump in the comments and leave me your comments. Let me know what you think about this list. What are your favourite albums of the year? As this is the last video of the year, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who likes, watches, comments, subscribes, whether you've been subscribed from day 1 or you're a recent subscriber. Very much appreciated. My channel's grown really nicely this year, and that's all down to you guys. So, as always, it's much appreciated you taking time out to watch these videos. So I'll be back on New Year's Day, actually. Back in the summer, I recorded a live chat with my friend Paul for his podcast. So we're talking about the album The Who's Next, which came out in 1971. So that'll be getting released on New Year's Day. I'll be back at the weekend, of course, with another new video. So as always, thank you very much for your support. It's very much appreciated. And until next time, as per usual, cheers, take care, and I'll see you later.